on because of a number of reasons, and we'll go into that. Firstly, shimpaku junipers, I guess they're known as different names sometimes. When I first started looking into them, they were referred to as sergeant juniper. I don't know if you've probably heard it in Australia, sergeant juniper. And then I was looking at a lot of Japanese stuff, and they refer to them as shimpaku, and then it really became shimpaku everywhere. So that's where the name comes from, I guess. Now, the history behind how I fell in love with these trees was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, where I found one, and I just thought the foliage was so soft. Extremely soft foliage, and you can make beautiful pads with this foliage. The other junipers, prostrata, procumbens, what we normally used to, kind of have prickly foliage. They get a bit random if you don't, trim them up properly and so on. But shimpaku junipers were just so easy to manage. They're just so soft, and they make beautiful, nice cloud foliage. I mean, they really come up quickly to be nice foliage. Now, going back all that time, it's like, where do I find more of these trees? It was really difficult. It wasn't easy finding good shimpaku juniper stock. I did scrounge, and I found maybe 3 nursery kind of stock. Not bonsai, just 3 nursery stock. I know people were growing it, especially Peter used to here. He was growing some beautiful shimpakus with growing row as well. They were probably the only 2 that I can recall growing such good material. But where could you get nursery stock from? Like, it was really hard. So I found 3. I was lucky, found 3. I'm going, they're just being pole straight, branches everywhere. Okay? You can't really do being. If you look at Japanese catalogues and so on, and you just see these magnificent little trees, all these gin and twisted up trunks. That's what you want to do, not being pole straight shimpaku junipers. So my first way to propagate is to air layer. So I started air layering off these 3 big trees. Now, over the years, I was taking 5, 10, 20, 30 air layers off these trees. It just got the bigger the tree got, the more I could take off of it. So I started air layering my own shimpaku junipers, and this is what you'll see tonight as a result of that. But also then, shimpaku junipers have come up for sale here and there, and I quickly bought them because I knew how hard it was to get them. So some of the good things about shimpaku junipers are, I find they're really healthy. In terms of, they don't give any diseases. They don't get that juniper blight that just kills off branches. Just, it gets a bit of brown and the whole branch just dies. You'll see it happen in procumbens and prostrata, the normal junipers. That doesn't happen with shimpaku. I've never seen that happen. It occasionally gets aphid, a little bit of aphid, but it's easily dealt with. Like, if you get a bit of aphid, just make sure it's in a sunny spot, spray it with water even, and it gets rid of it. We can spray with an insecticide or whatever you've got. But very, very, not many diseases that I know of. Can get a bit of scale if you're not careful. It's too shady. They love full sun. They love water. They love air. It's just normal, right? That's what you want a tree to do. And it responds. So the better you look after, the better tree will be. Simple as that. But that's everything, right? But full sun, I think they love full sun. If you can make sure you water them enough and you give them full sun, the health of the foliage is so vigorous and so strong, you get nice big cloud foliage really quickly. What else? I don't want to miss anything. Now, the other thing I also found is the flexibility of the branches. There's a reason why the Japanese have, if you see the shimpaku junipers, they've got a gnarly and twisted, some are this small, but this trunks that are all twisted and ginned up and shary everywhere. They're easy, they're very flexible. So that's what I found as well. They're very flexible, you can do all sorts of things with them. And you learn all these techniques the more you go and study other people, work with people better than you. Very important. Always look to people who are better than you, learn off them. So again, another good point. Bad points, hard to find. Maybe not now, they've been easy now, but hard to find, and can be very expensive these days. I know Hans not here, but I know the ones on his roof aren't very cheap at all, but they're magnificent, But that's about it. There's not too many bad ones I've got on these guys. You can see how healthy the foliage is as well. It's pretty cool. Now, the way I've built this collection up is just learning from people, learning online, learning from books, watching YouTube, watching, you name it, just learning from everything and everywhere. Looking at the Japanese trees and seeing how crazy and manipulated they are. Han's very good with black pines, and you know how to twist, how Han twists those black pines up and so on. Everyone know Han, how he twists those black pines up? Yep. So I use similar techniques to do with shimpaku junipers. I found they're very flexible and easy to do that. Because you know what, straight trunks. So that's how I started to build this collection up. Use people who I, mentored of, like you've got Quentin in the club who's brilliant, you've got Peter who's brilliant at shimpakus, and a Han, of course, and Michael Silverno, who probably not many of you know Michael. He's also an excellent grower. He's from down the coast somewhere, down in Wellington Way, and he's actually the judge for the show. So he's actually coming to judge the show in April. So you learn from different mentors, all these different things you pull together, and you start to do your own thing. And that's why coming to the club is really important. How many different ideas do you get on the tree that you bring in from the experts? How many different ideas do you get? Heaps, right? Got one person, if you bring a tree, guarantee every single person's got a different idea about that tree. And that's the best thing about bonsai. It's all subjective to the person who's designing it, okay? To me, this tree I'll design it totally different to the way David would design it, or Quentin will design it. It'll be totally different. But it's subjective to how we envision the tree. Vision's probably the hardest thing to teach. You cannot teach vision of a tree. You just gotta go out there and look at, all I did was look at many videos online, books from Japanese, Japan on bonsai. You just got to absorb as much as you can out there to see what things look like and see how they are and go, one day I want to do something like that. That looks really good. So that's how you build up the vision. Okay? We can show you how to bend and wire and do this and that. That's easy, but how do you envision that final design that you want to try and get to? That's the hardest bit. But it just takes time, okay? Not easy, but good. All right. Now what we're going to do, let's have a look at what we're going to do. Now, I've got all the things to show you and a few things to work on. Now, I hate wiring in demos. I really do. I don't want to be wiring trees in demos, okay? Because it's very boring. I prefer to talk and show you, but I will be applying maybe 1 or 2 wires and maybe some fine wiring, and that's about it, I promise you, okay? Because wiring is one of the most boringest things to show you, but I want to actually just have to do it because I want to show you it. All right, I'm going to start with this guy, okay? Now this guy, so remember I had those 3, I was telling you about those 3 nursery stock that I had before, and I started with 3 nursery stock. So eventually, if you've got 3 nursery stock over 15 years, you keep the airline branches off, you're not going to be left with many branches, okay? So you're going to be slowly building up. So this was actually one of the top branches of the tree. I airlaid that, and I've now grown it on to be the next generation of airlays to take the airlays. Does that make sense? So it's the next generation. I had to go, because I didn't want to lose the stock, so I just kept building up more trees. So this will probably be an airlay off next year. Maybe these 2 branches I'll airlay off in winter. So airlaying is very easy. I don't want to go into it too much, but airlaying, if you're good at it or not good at it, it's super simple. I've got tons of videos on my channel. You can have a look how I do it. I do them in late August, and they come off in December, and they're full of roots. And I don't even do them that well. Like really, I don't even put water in them. I just let them do their thing, and they just seem to survive and do well. When you create an airlay, you create a ball, this bag of moss, plastic bag, that's what I do, and they just grow. Okay, it just grows really easily. So this is from the original stock that I've airlayed the top of, and now I'm growing up the next generation. So I can have 1, 2, so I'll airlay those off, and these will grow next year, then I'll airlay those off, then these will grow, then I'll airlay those off, and it just keeps going. That's how you build stock up. Okay, it doesn't take too long. Okay, that's why I want to show you this. I'm not going to do anything to it. It's an airlay. Now these are 2 good pieces of material that Tony brought in. Now you see a lot of this stuff, which is quite good. I will be I'm thinking about doing these as the demos of the show. So for Tony, he's going to be very happy. He's going to get a couple of nice little trees. So good material, but also again, if Tony's keen, if he wants to wait a year, he can probably airlay the tops of them. You can have a couple more trees. Okay, Tony, I'll just put it over there. So at that stage, I then get something like this that I've cut off. All right, this is just a simple this was this year's, so in winter, August 2023, I aerated a tree. This is a small branch that I cut off in December, and I leave it alone for a year. I don't touch it. I just put it in a pot, feed it, water it, give it sunshine, and that's it. Okay? At least a year, 2 years is even better, just so it establishes in the pot. And they'll just slowly grow. You've got a nice little cute tree, you know, that's probably, the branch was probably 3 years old, air layer, maybe a 5-year-old tree that you're going to be working on very soon. I haven't done anything to it, except chopped it off, put it in a pot, don't touch a sphagnum moss, nothing. Just put it straight in. That's how I do it. And eventually the sphagnum moss breaks apart, breaks away, and you get lots of roots, healthy tree. Okay, that's the second stage. Alright. Now this is the we're after the Y stage. Now here you have something that didn't go so well. It didn't have much branching while we're on. It's got a decent base, but it's got 2 long spindly things. Like, what in the world do you do with something like that? Okay. Now, if you've seen my work on YouTube, you'll know what I do with this kind of stuff. So don't throw stuff like this away. This is good, but don't style it up as, oh, there you go. There's a bonsai. You know, it looks terrible, right? Terrible. It doesn't look gold. It doesn't look gold at all. Okay. So this is the bit of work we're going to have to do now. Now I know some of the Geelong guys. I did this in Geelong, and I think they enjoyed it. Except Tom won't be falling asleep. But that's okay. Now, when you do this work, I find it's easier to work with a roll of wire. Okay, big roll of wire.
Is that aluminium?
Sorry?
Is that aluminium?
This is aluminium. You cannot do this with copper. Okay, you can't do this with copper, it's too hard. You've got to use aluminium. Now, this is against all the guidelines that you've heard of. You know, half the size of the branch of the wire, half the thickness of the branch, use that wire, right? Half the thickness, or something like that, a third made of copper, half of aluminium. I'm pretty much using the same thickness wire as the trunk. Okay? What I'm going to do now is pretty much the same thickness. Okay? So it's totally against what we've been told, isn't it? But it works. And I'll show you what I'm doing. So it's going to be going over it. Always good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire the trunks. Okay? I have no idea what this tree is going to look like. But I'm going to put heavy wire on this trunk, on both trunks. And this is the only wiring that's boring, and it's going to be, unfortunately, you're going to have to watch me do it. Because it's important. Because it's not that hard to do, guys.
You're wiring tightly, Dave?
I'll leave a little bit of a gap, but I'll show you the more important thing in a second, though. I still always try and leave a gap in between a wire and a trunk. But the more important thing is, another guideline that tell us is it 45-degree angle wire? Is that how they say it? 45? 40 to 60? You're going to hate me. Because mine's nothing like that. Mine's like a 30? Is it? 30 is a smaller, right? Yeah, like something like 30. Unfortunately, this tree is a bit, once you get moving, it's faster. There you go. Sorry, I have to do it to make it easier when you're writing and you're looking at the wire. It looks like a manhandling in the tree, right? Crazy, right? Manhandling. Wrestling match. So these are the only 2 bits of wire really going to put on the trees. If anything, the smaller ones might need some fine wire, but probably won't do that, will bore you. So, but remember, this is the next stage in the process, okay? This stage is going from, you know, you've got a tree, you've laid it off, you've grown it on, and now you're going to be wiring. Crazy, huh? Imagine trying to cut a piece of wire to the right length and then trying to wire this. Impossible, right? Does that make sense? Imagine you have to try and figure out how long a piece of wire you need to do this. It would be really hard. So that's why you use the whole roll. And the tree's fine. Now the reason we give the tree 2 years to recover after it's put in the pot is so the roots can establish. And the stronger the roots are in the pot, they're not going to rock around and move around and all that kind of stuff. So, on my videos, I do this process. It's like, oh yeah, you can't cut away and it's all done, right? You know what I'm saying? That, like, yeah, this is the process. They don't realise how long it takes. Any questions while I do this? Because it's kind of...
Do you ever consider raffia on any of these?
Yeah, but, yeah. I'll explain that in a minute. Good question.
What gauge copper you use?
This is 6 aluminium. It's the biggest we got. If you have to use bigger, then it's too thick of a trunk, I reckon. You have to use bigger than 6. Almost there for the first one. I'm going to do the second one. This is the bit where you sweat.
If you were doing a tree that size stage that had a lot of lower foliage, would you keep that lower foliage inside the wire around it, or would you rather strip the...
I would keep lower foliage. And I'll show you a few things on these ones, what I try and do as well.
Will this fat bud down on the lower trunk?
They can, but I'm not usually looking for that. Okay, so that's the first one done. Now, what do you notice about the spacings? They're quite 30 degrees about each way. Now, when asking the question, do I raffia? No, because I found that when I put the coils tighter spaces, it acts like raffia. It's almost like a spring, so the actual branch won't crack, because this almost is like raffia. Raffia is like this reed material that protects the trunks and enables you to bend them without cracking the bark. And I found that just doing a tighter coil, the spacing's tighter, acts the same way. So one more wire and I'm done, okay? I've got to be a volunteer roster. Damn. So everyone volunteered for the show. Has everyone put their names down? I'm going to hassle you again next month. I've got to bring it. You have to forget something. Too much to remember to bring.
Would you wire like this on any other plant, Dave? Say, whether it be a maple or something?
No, definitely.
No.
They can't. Only conifers. I find that if you try and do this on a trident, I don't find I have much luck with these. When you try and heavy wire and bend crazy bends in tridents, it just doesn't work as well. It just doesn't. I don't know why. Maybe it's a horticultural thing. Alright. It's always the stars that hardest, and then it's easy after that. But this is a super ugly tree right now.
Dave, I noticed you go in, when you wire the first trunk, you went clockwise. Wiring the second trunk, you're going clockwise again. Is that a coincidence or is that deliberate?
Deliberate. Because I want things to go in the right one direction. I want the tree to go in one direction.
So you want the shape of the tree to match?
Yes, with both trunks to go in the same direction.
Because if you use
Good question. Very hard to see that without.
If you use one piece of wire, that would be impossible.
Yeah, you have to go kind of in and around and be kind of crazy. But yes, 2 separate wires. But I like to push a lot of my trees in one direction. if you can have a look, you see they're all going in that one direction, all the branches are moving in that direction. Don't know why, but I like it. I don't know. There probably is some sort of reason for it. Ben Quinton knows exactly what it is, but I just like the look of it when it goes in one direction. I don't like when it goes, something down this way and then part of it goes this way. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Do you find a lot of your trees in your own backyard, they all tend to go one way?
Yes, unfortunately.
I don't know why that is.
I don't know, me too.
Right hand, left hand.
It's crazy. Look straight at it go. Look, I don't think that one is, but those two are definitely going this way. Look, that's going that way. What's that one going? That way. I don't know why. Does anyone know that one reason too? Anyone? Yeah? Ian?
What's your body is?
Generally because Westerners read from left to right.
Okay.
They find the tree more attractive going from left to right.
There you go, Ian.
I think, Dave, the other thing maybe, as you're doing now, you're wiring it clockwise. Maybe that's your preferred way and you just do
Could be.
it thinking.
Could be.
And when you do it when it's young, you're stuck with that.
Could be. It's a very fascinating question. I don't know. That's a really good one.
I think if the right-handed will tend to naturally go clockwise.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely right-handed.
What if we just change the front on one of the trees, Dave? Then we'll go the other way.
Could do it. Once you style, do it and then change the front, you have to redo it. That's right. Very nice. Almost there. So I'm finding there's a lot more shimpaku coming into the club now. It's good. Good to see. I know Ty does a lot of shimpaku now, Ty. Yes, I know he likes them. I know I saw Andrew with some nice shimpaku. I think you both sit them together. Look at this. I picked out the two shimpaku boys. Alright, that's what I normally do. I'll put it in between my legs. If you don't know how to hold it for you. Alright, that was the hardest part of the night. Oh, thank God that's over. Whew. What would that take? About 10 minutes? You do that just 2 layers?
Half an hour.
You're bagging me from over there, are you? Alright. Now, if I leave it alone, it's just going to fall over because the weight of the wire. Now, remember, bonsai is subjective, right? It's all about what you envision. As I said, I have no idea what this tree is going to look like, but I think it's really ugly right now. So the only thing I have to kind of worry about is there's a bit of a kink here. There's a bit of a kink. Now, I put the wire around that kink. Now, I'm just going to be careful there because if I overdo it, it could snap right there. Okay, no big loss. It's okay, still got one. So, it's really about... So what's the most important thing to do with this tree for starters? What's wrong with it? It's really too tall, right? Too tall. Too tall, too straight. So what do I want? I want as short as I can possibly get. Okay? And not straight at all. So the base is pretty good. We're going to think about that. Now, I'll just show you the flexibility of these guys before I do anything. So I'm going in the direction that I'm wired. So I'm going to bend it, remember bending it the way you want. And I'm making sure I don't go against this point here that could be the weak point. So I'm not even sure what this is going to look like, as I say. I know it's a bit hard to see, but I've just made a little kind of cascading thing happening, right? With this, just this branch. And that was where it was at up here, right? Now it's down here, just roughly zigzag. That's a quick rough thing. Then I'll fix it up as I go. Now I'm going to try and see if I can do this to try and encourage it. Actually, I probably want to go around. Manhandling. Is that manhandling? So if you go backwards in a tree, if you pick a front and go backwards, that's the quickest way to shorten the tree. Okay, it's the quickest way to shorten, go back and then come forward. Yes, I'm sweating. Because it's too
When will we
warm.
hear a crack that day?
You won't, darling. That's what I'm saying. Remember I was saying that it acts like a spring? You see how much I'm doing? There's not even one crack in there right now. Not even one. And of course, always use two hands, right? Don't try and do this one-handed. And because I've got thick enough wire, it makes it really easy. Alright, so this is how it kind of looks like something now. I don't know if you guys can see it. But if I wide all these, which is going to take too long, apex, wide this cascade, there's the start of something. There's the start of something for next season. So this now, I let grow on, so I can pick it up, so I can hold its shape. Okay, so that's the first styling after you've taken an ear layer off, left it in the pot for a year or two, then it's the first styling, okay? Some sort of shape. It doesn't have to be the final shape. I could cut off this branch, leave one branch, that'd be the new tree. But it's better than two sticks up in the air. Now you've got some sort of shape. You know, it looks a bit messy, right? But if you imagine there's a branch here, probably make an apex in here, turn this around, nice little apex there, cascade branch up in here. I can see it already. I mean, it's just how you see it. This will fatten up. Fattens up over a couple of, probably I'll leave it for 2 years, I reckon, without even, just feed it, water it, don't cut anything off yet. Just let it go. Right? If you've got really good growing conditions, lots of sun, lots of food, lots of water, probably a year you can start doing some more work, okay? And then start the next process, okay? Now let's go on to the, so everyone's okay with that? So that's the first step. Now here's one that I tried to keep a couple of lower branches down here. And I've widened into place. So you can see they've been wide, a bit of wire on it, but they kind of didn't take off. They look a bit sick. They look a bit sick, okay? So what I did with this tree at home, before I came here, I took the wire off and I rewired part of it because I want to show you the next phase of the tree. But you notice now, what's this tree? It's got some movement, it's got some interest, it's got a bit of foliage still up here. It's got two kind of yucky branches which I'm not going to deal with. Now, if these were thicker, these are nice and thick, I would have probably used all of them to make a gin. You know, deadwood, gin. I'll probably just have small ones here, just because it looks okay. So I'll probably cut them off, because they're just no good. Just cut them off, okay? And I'll probably do them, just in case maybe one day I'll use them as gin, okay? Does that make sense? Just roughly ginning a couple of things. Ginning is just, I cut the branch off and I use my pliers, crush the candy wire and peel it off. So that's it, they're done, right? And now I want to do something a bit more fun with this. Now it's like we've got some movement in this tree, this is a bit straight. What can we see with this tree? Let's try and, I think I want to make a smaller, more traditional kind of maybe not a little ratty maybe, but I don't know, something. We'll try. Let's have a look. Even though I don't know sometimes when I'm doing what I've got. But then now I can actually play around with, there's a branch in here that's nicely placed. So that maybe could be a branch to the side. So that's how I think of it. How can I get that branch to be a nice side branch? So I need to look at the tree, of course, to figure out what I'm going to do. Remember, now I've gone back and I've started to shrink the tree. You just squash it down. You can actually start to maneuver the branches around. So this is the next phase in the process. So maybe that would be a nice little side branch there. We'll just grow that on. Make sure you put movement in the branch, don't have it straight. Because this all the trunk is moving, you can't have a straight branch. Make sure the branch is moving.
Have you chosen the front?
Yeah, probably in here somewhere, because it's got a couple of gins maybe. Play around with it. With shimpakus, the front can be any time. You can always change it to the opposite sometimes. But if you have just an idea of where it can be, it's good. So now it's just me trying to see if I can create a vision.
How long does that white go on for?
Until it starts to really cut in. Who said that?
When did you put it in? When did you wire that?
I just put, as I said, I took all the wire off it tonight, this afternoon and put on a new wire. Because the wire was cutting in. It's probably been 2 years, the wire's cutting into the tree. So I've taken it off and I reapplied it because tonight, you know, I'm still wiring, as I said. How boring it was watching 10 minutes of me wiring that. Very boring. Don't like doing wiring demos.
That wiring is not 30 degrees anymore, that's more like 45.
This one probably doesn't have to be right, yeah? Probably doesn't have to be 30 anymore. Can be a bit looser, just a little bit. Still reasonably tight, right? But
You wire that in the opposite direction to what you originally wired?
sometimes I do if the branch is too damaged. Only if it's too damaged. But I usually go in the same direction because I'm continuing the same bend. Does that make sense to everyone? If the branch is too damaged, like if it cuts in and you go the same way, you'll just snap it. Okay, and if you go opposite the cut, it actually holds it together, I feel. Does that kind of make sense? Just, if that didn't make sense, let me know. Because it's a kind of a good thing, because if you get wide cuts in your trees, it's a good way to save the tree. And who's game enough to do this now when they go? Going to start bending stuff and go, yeah, I can do that. Just remember, some of the key points are, well, to repeat them over and over again. Use the right gauge wire. The thicker the better. And make sure the spaces are much more tighter than normal, than you normally have it.
Hey,
Yes?
it's a good idea not to wire like that straight after water.
I really haven't found much make any difference, honestly. Yeah. Unless you know, I haven't found any difference. But I water it or not water it. Yeah. I think it's so young that it doesn't matter. You know? So now you start to see the next phase of it. It's a smaller tree. It looks like a bit of a mess again, right? So it's a bit of a mess, but at least you're seeing some sort of tree happening. Okay? I kind of leave most things on this now. There's maybe a few bits of branches you can wire again, but you can start to see lots of nice tight movement, a little bit of a branch here, a bit of an apex now starting to happen. It's just the next phase of the process, okay? Building a tree up slowly, each year, keep enhancing it slowly. It's going to be nice. It'll be a nice little mini. It'll be a very nice little mini eventually. Maybe a couple of years with this, in this thing, in this pot. Have a back branch, still need some back branches. Now, I will talk about aftercare, but these are pretty much go back exactly the same spot in the garden, same amount of sun, same amount of water, same amount of food. Don't treat them like anything special. You haven't done anything to them except, bend the branch. Oh,
Dave,
it's a healthy tree.
I think you talk about putting it that's it for now, you're going to put it aside.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people, when they begin, they just overwork a tree?
Yes. Yes, because they don't have enough. They don't have enough trees. Simple as that. You become addicted, and I did it. I had 200-300 trees in my backyard, my parents' backyard, mind you. And I was addicted, but it saved me from killing too many things, and because you get to work on little bits and pieces all the time. But when I had like 5 or 10 at the start, man, that was death central. It was just overworking him every single day. Like, why would you do to touch a tree every single day? But honestly, that's probably the trick. You've got to leave things alone. So, does that make sense? That's the next step. Okay? I'm up to, which one am I up to? Can't remember it. Oh no, I've done that one. So I went from, right. Okay. Now you start to see a bit more advancement in a tree, okay? Kind of a bit more wild, but this is probably thickened up. See how it's all thickened up a lot more from that. So a thicker material, starting to grow longer, more interesting, crazy amount of trunks now. Now this looks like an absolute mess right now, so I really have to fix it up. Now it's got a little trunk in here, it's got a little trunk in here, and it's got 2 big trunks kind of twisted up and around. Okay? Too many trunks. Agree? It looks a mess, you can't even see the tree. But I did it for a reason, because I want to fatten up these little bits here. Why do I want to fatten them up?
Hello.
Why do I want to fatten them up?
LA or G?
Actually, air layer or gin. You can air layer them off, or you can gin them. I'm not going to air layer them, but I'm going to gin them. So let me just cut the wire off. Didn't do that today.
Does it make it dry when you start ginning them, if you know that you could have?
No.
I think you meant yes.
I used to be very much like that. Then when you got like a lot, you don't really mind anymore.
In this process, when are you or are you repotting them?
It's very rare. Okay, so you don't need to repot so often, conifers anyway. I find you don't have to, unless the soil is rock hard. This is still growing. Like if you feed this thing, it's still going to absorb all the feed. There's lots of roots there, it's just going to take all the feed. If there's no water going through, yeah, okay. But the water's going through. As long as the water's going through, don't repot. Don't repot. So this, I'll talk about these little guys. These little guys are a tiny pot. Probably have to do it every 2 to 3 years because it's such a small pot. Okay? But this can last a lot longer than anything needs to be. Pines are a different story. I don't even repot pines unless I really have to. I really hate repotting pines because that doesn't need it. But that's a different topic altogether. But yes, I don't repot very often unless a tree needs it. And that kind of will tell you when it needs it.
Is that to keep it shorter, to keep a thin trunk, or if you wanted a thicker trunk, would you repot then?
I think if you want a thicker trunk, it's your growing conditions that make it thicker. Honestly, you can have a tree in this pot, but if you feed and water every day, but make sure you water feed it, and it gets full sun all day long, it will explode. And even in a pot like this, it will explode. You can put some of this in a huge pot and don't give it the right conditions, it will do nothing and sulk. Okay? Honestly, it just depends on your growing conditions. Because I just found that if you've got a growing bed and it's in full sun and you get nicely watered grow bed, in a nice raised grow bed probably, you can have so much fun with growing stock in a grow bed. Put it in the ground. I find if you don't get enough sun, if it's shaded too much, it doesn't do anything. It just sulks. It's better to have the right soil in there, better to have the right food in there. In a pot, it does better, I find. They're just healthy trees. Alright, so take the wire off.
David, how often are you feeding these? And what?
In the growing season, at least every 4 weeks, at least. But I use a granule feed now that's really good. Power feed to come out with this tiny little, looks like osmocote, but it's a power feed and it's brown. Yeah. It's brown and you can't see it. You put it on your soil top, you can't see it, just water the trees. It's so good. And I found the growth on my conifers especially crazy. Like my maples this year, they're just non-stop growing the whole season, just insane. So I found that's really positive. If you forget to liquid feed, which I do all the time, forget totally. Yeah, I found that's a really good product. I have no shares in the company or anything, I promise you. But it's so good. Power feeder coming up with this great granule, it's just great.
Where do you store that from?
Just bunnies.
Yeah.
Alright. So I've taken those two off. Looks so much better. You can actually see there's a bit of a now cascade branch. And it's a bit of a mess up here. So this is the next phase, okay? We're starting to get into more refinement. We're starting to get to the refinement bit. Let me just gym these off, so otherwise they'll be too long anyway. Big question, why? Does this sound nuts to everyone, what I'm doing? Was it logical?
Excellent.
Logical?
Yeah.
And it's a process, okay? It doesn't take one night. You come bring it to a workshop and it's done. It's the next phase, the next phase, the next phase. You're building on trees all the time. I know Peter's got how old are yours, some of your shimpakus? Like 20, 40?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just builds up slowly over time, his trees. Like it's just crazy good.
Doug, do you ever consider grafting any branches back onto some of those longer bare bits?
Not these guys, no.
Don't want to? Don't you?
The only reason is I compact the foliage so much, I compact the trees so much, that the foliage ends up hiding a lot of the bare bits. And you'll see what I do now, this should be able to see it. This one. Let's have a look. I do like this as a kind of semi-cascade little guy. Sorry, I have to look at the tree, otherwise I don't know what I'm doing, right? Now, so this cascade branch is pretty good, pretty set. I like this branch here. These have to be wired, which I have no time for tonight, but if you wire those, you'll be in a nice position. The hard bit is this, what I'm going to do with this bit, it kind of is too big, right? I need to think of how I'm going to, the next phase of the tree, what am I going to do to make this look better? And it's always about compacting, making it tighter, making it smaller, making it more twisted. So I'm going to try and get it now. Now the wire is almost just cutting in now. So this is probably the last phase of this wire. I'll have to take it off next soon, maybe next season once this holds. So I've compacted it down. Now I've got this big branch in here. So I'm just going to try and let's see where it looks good. So I'm almost trying to make it a, so if you have this as a cascade, this will be the next branch up. It's a little bit thick and long, we'll fix that up. But usually it's just cutting it back, and thinning it out, which it's just the next step. So it's building up a layer. So you've got your cascade and this is the next one that goes on top. And now this guy is the apex, so that's how. Now I'm just going to try and twist it right around. Try and bring this guy down a bit in here. Have a look at it again, sorry. See how good it is when you pre-wire everything? You just come in and go bang and it's all done. So now I used the top bit that was out here, crossed the back this way, and created a side branch here. Now, it's too long, everything, so I'm going to actually trim this one. It's actually too long. So everything's too long on this. So, these are just brilliant. These are the ones that Joe Morgan Kramer used at the demo ones last year, and it just cuts through everything. It's amazing. It cuts through the wire, cuts through everything. Saves so much time having to get wire cutters and branch cutters. All right, I'll give you a bit of a look now. It's just, again, use your imagination a bit. But you can start to see more of an apex now. This cascade branch is a little bit weak, but I think eventually it will catch up. But nice little trees, a little bit of an apex, a little bit of a cascade. Okay, the next phase. So you keep building up on a tree. Is that okay? Everyone, any questions on that one? Okay, good. This one. So this is like, you can imagine, you can almost see this tree in about a year's time. Okay. You can almost see it, right? It's almost the same kind of shape, except for the weeds. You can almost see the same kind of shape. Now this is a more advanced tree, nice thick, a bit more thicker trunk, lots of wire on it, and now it's just me going through and just almost like putting things in final position. Like, okay, make a decision on it, that's the right spot, that's the right spot. This branch goes in here, that looks good. This cascade looks good, let's refine it a bit more. So it's now me going, don't have to wire it because the wires are long in it. And it's just me coming in and going, okay, let's fix all this up now. Now I'll also make decisions on branching as well. Now, sometimes I see there's like thin, really kind of spindly branches that I don't like, so I'll just cut them off. They're just not going to be in use. It's just how you see trees as well. So this is almost like I'm almost at the final point of, this is what that final tree is going to kind of look like and grow into to be a future tree. Everything's kind of like, after the growing season, everything starts to go upwards. Even if you've got wire on it, there's sometimes things to go upwards. So it's a matter of just pulling things back down. Can't be bothered bending down, so. I'll talk about what I'm doing here. I'm plucking the foliage underneath. I'll talk about that in a minute with the more advanced trees. So plucking foliage, and when I first started, everyone was talking about pinching. It wasn't the right thing to do. Okay, it's not the right, but that's okay. You don't have to know that. But we need to. What I do is I pluck anything growing down, pluck it off fully, like take the whole branch slip off, pluck it off, and then at the top, it's all about using your scissors and actually cutting at one point, and only having one cut point, and taking that off. Never ever do this. Never ever do that, okay? Because you'll have 100 brown points on the tree. Look whole.
100 what?
Brown points. Brown. Drink time.
That'll only last a couple of weeks, won't it?
No, look shit. Yeah, so avoid doing that. I'm just slowly working on trying to get this branch down here. And you'll see this foliage. I'm not going to even wire that. I'm just going to, they're too spindly. I want the healthy foliage to grow. So anything that's going, I'm trying to make a layer. So this is kind of a layer, the first layer I'm trying to make. Can everyone see that layer there? And then there's another layer here. You can see as you move up, there's stuff growing downwards. So I'm just plucking it away. So now I'm just going up to the next level. Now I'm going up to here. I'm fixing this branch. Now I'm just cutting one point on the branch, and that's it. And that whole bit's gone, and the whole foliage looks much better. Now apexes are probably the hardest thing. If you've worked on trees, trying to create apex is always difficult. Especially trying to make the tree look old. Now, the way I do it is always creating some sort of rounded apex. I don't create a straight point. If you look in nature, all the old trees are kind of rounded. Right? Except maybe in the mountains or high up, they're all the snow falls on them and makes a nice point. But majority of trees have nice rounded apexes. I'm not liking this branch. So there's a branch in here that's kind of interrupting my eye. It's going on the inside of the curve. So there's lots of guidelines that still work. Branches are growing inside of curves. They look terrible for a reason. And that's why you've got to get rid of them. So I keep working on this tree very quickly. Now, I did talk about the reason I wanted to do this tree, the demo this month or maybe even June, is it's the right time to do this kind of work on shimpaku or on junipers. I find anyway.
In June.
No. So either from any time after end of summer to any time right into winter, not into spring. So there's about a 4 or 5 month period that you can really get stuck into this. This is the time I prefer to work on them. Because it's just what I found with these trees is they do all their growing in spring and summer, and you need to let them grow. You don't want to touch them. You don't want to pinch the foliage out. You don't want to trim all the time, cut things back all the time. That new growth is doing stuff to the roots. Okay, new growth, roots grow. New growth, roots grow. The longer so you're going to get a healthier tree. So then when I do this work now in summer, and I've just done that one over the weekend, I just clean that up, pull the foliage off, we'll talk about it in a minute. But I find that in a couple more months it will slowly push out more growth and it almost looks really pristine. They look so good in autumn, autumn and towards winter I find, because they still keep pushing, but not as much as I'll push in spring and summer. In spring and summer I get huge, things going everywhere. And then I leave them alone, and then I come in now and I start cutting everything back, and then get this next spot a bit of flush of foliage. It just makes them look perfect, especially for our show, which is next month. So they come up really well. That's what I found with these guys. And if I do too much work in spring, I just find they weaken. That's just me. Maybe other people have got different opinions. It's just how I found. So I really very rarely touch. In spring they say spring is a great month to do bonsai. I find spring for me is the quietest month. Apart from feeding, that's all I'm doing. And trimming maples, but usually it depends on how vigorous your maples are. But because I've got black pine, shimpaku, and maples, really all I'm doing is maple stuff. Alright, so you start to see another set of cascades, surprise, surprise. See how it's starting to form? I know this has to be wide, there's no time to do that. But if you wanted to, you can wire some of this stuff out. And the tree's starting to form. Okay, you've got a branch, you've got the layers starting to happen. Okay.
So David, you've done a curve around the top to get your apex, and then you're going to wire the small stuff
Around, yes. So the way I do the apex, if it's a straight thing, you go backwards, turn it around, and pop it on top. Okay, if you do backwards, turn it around, pop it on top, it's like a little helmet. And then you wire the branches down. Makes it look so much older than straight up the side, which I've seen too many times in Japanese balls. I don't know, I'm not saying it's bad, but just you need rounded apexes, it makes it look. Alright, that's the next phase. So that's not far away from a couple of years' time, should be really more refined, clean lines, and off we go. Alright. Everyone following me so far? No one's asleep?
When would you put that into the bonsai pot?
A couple more years. Easy couple. Because I really want to have refined foliage plants. I don't want to have any thick wire on the trunk. I just want to have wire on the branchlets. As soon as you get to the point where you've got wire on the branches, only the subbranch, secondary and tertiary branches, then you can consider a bonsai pot. If you're happy with the size of the trunk, if you're happy with everything on it, then it goes in a bonsai pot. Okay. See this guy. Alright. So this is the reason I want to talk about this guy is here's a tree that I led. Here's a tree that's like I knocked it in the car, didn't I? Always do that. So here's a tree that's I didn't touch it over spring and summer. And it's in a bonsai pot, beautiful, beautiful trunk, twisted, curvy, nice little cascadey tree. Didn't touch it over summer. Now what I want to show you guys with this is the techniques of maintaining these trees. Now, this technique I'm going to do here, I did on this tree over the weekend. It took me about 5 or 6 hours to do on that tree, but this tree should be more faster. It's the same technique I use all the time. Two things you've got to remember. Clean foliage pads underneath. Does that make sense? If you look at a tree and see a branch going down, let's take it off, take it off, take it off. We'll start with that one. I've got to look down here because I can't see otherwise. So what you do, I've got wire on this tree on the sub-branches. The best thing with that is it's not cutting in because it's slow growing in a bonsai pot. It doesn't cut in at all. And you can just fix up all the branching. If you don't touch your shimpakus all season and then just come down to fix them up, branches grow and push them away occasionally, okay? So you've got to put things back in place. So the wire's not cutting in, so you just start to maneuver everything back in place. You know, this can be applied to, black pines do the same thing. Just maneuver the wire back in place. Clean up foliage that's going down. Now, as I go through it, all I'm doing is putting back all the branches where they were. Clean underneath, okay? If I see something that's going downwards, I clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Okay, now you see the ones going out, upwards. I'll try to do it where you're watching. So anything that's going too much, I go in, find a point where you see other small foliage growing, like nice deep green colour. And then if you cut it off, it doesn't actually look any different except for that bit's gone. And it still looks nice and fluffy. If I go in here, cut back to the point, you'll see there's a few other little branches happening over here, then you see this big stick coming out. Cut that big stick out. And because it's only one cut, you don't get that browning off effect. And you just go through it quickly. You don't even have to think about it after a while.
You cut it to the green.
Sometimes it's brown, sometimes it's dark green, getting to that brown phase.
So are you cutting below the actual, where, your little sort of raised area, so to speak? Okay, so for example, you've got your branches like that, and you take it, say, taking it from there.
Pretty much, yeah. And there's at that knuckle point, there's usually two little new bits of foliage just there. Okay, you'll see it. If you have a close look at your trees, once you get used to it, you'll see there's a big stick, there's one that shoots out, a couple of little ones at the base, and you just take it right just before that, just inside it. But once you get into it, you'll see it quite easily. Yeah, I can't show you, it's too small. But it's a very quick process of going through the tree, cutting it back, and you're going to have almost a display tree ready.
And it's doing this process that's kicking up those foliage pads.
Correct.
The other ones that are looking all loose and.
Correct. Yes. So the healthier the tree is, right, it's super healthy. Letting it get healthier. The roots are getting more roots, getting stronger, taking up all the food. More roots take up more food. Okay? The tree is healthier, green, compact foliage. Now I come in and take these out. They've done their job, and all the nice small stuff below it, which is probably growing slowly, is now like really nice and happy, getting lots of sun. I don't know, that's how I see it. And it seems to work. You can't have these long guys on there. Can anyone explain that horticulturally for me? How to love it? I just know it works for me. So if you go through it all and take out these guys, this is just how simple it is.
You usually need the longer ones for cuttings.
If you really want to, wait about 5 years for them to do anything on that cutting. That's the problem. Cuttings are good, but so much older than doing your layers. Your layers are like within a year until I'm working on the tree. Cutting around like 5 years for it to be any decent size to be able to work on. Mind you, I do cuttings. I've done cuttings on shimpaku about that big. I know people probably, what the hell, but honestly, I could do it that big. If you give it enough shade, don't put it in the sun pretty much. In the shade, keep them nice and moist. Give it 3 to 6 months in that shady spot, you'll have roots on it. It's amazing. It works on me, but I never really chop off big trunks like that these days. You're laid off. Any questions while I do this? So that's
I
the
just
problem.
want to say how proud I am.
Oh,
This
wow.
young fella up here.
Yes, he was
They
a-
were all when he joined us, huh? Yeah, that's everybody's here. Look at these trees, for goodness. Where's Quinton? Hey, what do you mean, Quinton? Hey, what? He's done well. It really
Just Lola's lovely. Lola I met 25 years ago.
I'm so proud of you, Dave.
Oh, thanks, Lola.
It's just beautiful. Absolutely.
I try and give back as much as I can to the club. That's true. That's why, honestly, guys, join the committee.
We learn it all from you, Lon.
Please join the committee.
We learn it all from
I'm still cutting the wrong branch off. After what, how many years? Oh, that's beautiful.
So you can see slowly coming back. The pads are there. If I went through this now, I'll take you down another 30 minutes. I don't want to do that. And just dry nuts.
Dave,
Yeah.
that top bit's fairly dense. Will you go in?
Correct. That's why it'll take me a while to get through it. So I go, Ian's right. So see how dense this is? By the time you clean up underneath, by the time you take out the top, by the time you spread it out and find the long bits, it thins out naturally. Just thins out naturally. Whereas here, I didn't do much. All I did was pretty much take out the long bit. I didn't really thin that a little bit, but these are pretty good. Just put them back into place. But here, I'll go in more work. There's a lot more work to do. See how I'm spending more time on the top. I'll take all the big long bits out, and then I'm working on the back.
Dave,
Yes?
what a long bit the base leaf trail and a long bit down to the point where it's growing out and it's looking at.
Say again?
So what are you taking out the longer piece, you're following back down to the base of that and just cutting out that?
Correct, yeah. Coming to the base, there's a nice little bit of foliage at the base. I mean, those two little bits will grow next year. They should go a little bit more, grow a bit more this season, and it just makes the whole tree look nice and cloud shape. Really get that cloud effect on the tree. Now, all right, so I'll leave that one for now, and you get my idea. This I'll just go and trim it up, clean up all the foliage pads and so on. Now, this is the same process on this guy. This is a bit older and a bit thicker. This was the front. Yeah, this is the front. So this is a nice tree, starting to become a really nice tree. It's got gin. I like gin on shimpaku, right? It looks good. but not all of them. I don't think all trees need to do with gin, but shimpakus do look better with gin. This tree just looks like a ball, doesn't it now? It's lost all its definition, okay, it's lost all its refinement. Where's the pads, where's the clean lines? So the same process again. I start at the base. I just want to, I can't harp on this enough. You start at the base and just start to clean out all the long bits going down. I'm just plucking things away, okay? And once you do that, the tree opens up. And I'm showing you guys from your end how it's slowly starting to happen. Yeah, good. Let's have a look. So quickly the base. Okay, and then we go the same process. All the same process. The next process is to clean the base of that branch. What do I do now? Take up the long bits. Yes?
Sounds good.
Take up the long bits. Thanks, Val. At least you're listening. And the process keeps happening. And you slowly start to get your refine. I'll just do this branch and you see the difference.
That little bit on the end, Dave, it's driving me nuts.
This one?
No, there, yeah, that.
Alright, thanks. It's all underneath. It's good. Sometimes branches are too long, so you've got to come back as well. So that's that branch done very quickly. Can you see now you've actually underneath? You can see the actual gap now. There's a bit of a gap in there. You actually see in. And you keep going up the tree. This is very easy stuff to do, but the difference. Now I think I'm going to have this tree to show. So once I clean it all up, you see the moss growing all over it. I'm going to clean that up a bit too. But I think I might put this in the show as well. Once I clean it up, I'll clean it up this weekend or this week, and then let it do its thing. And come back, and it'll be ready for the show. Now, you can probably now see, maybe we'll get zoomed in on this one, Tony, because it'll be a lot longer here. Maybe you actually see this guy. I don't know, I can't see the TV, so I don't know. Can you see this guy long one here? Right, I don't know if you can get in here. But right at the base, it's going to be hard to see. It's got two little ones that I was talking about. Two little ones that I was talking about. So if I cut that off, it leaves those two little ones on the side. And that'll be the next round. It's a very, just how it just looks good. And that's like a nice clean, almost like nice canopy. It just forms a nice canopy. Again, I'll just come in, bang, and you start to do it faster and faster the more you're used to it. Some bits have to be taken further back, but you get my point. So very quickly, that becomes easy. They're not all long, okay? They're not all long. Some are quite small, like this. There's little ones in here. There's some little ones that you actually have to get rid of as well. So it's not just really long ones. You have to really look carefully into your trees and find all those bits to take out. So just go into it. Alright. So that should be in the show. I'm hoping we'll see what happens.
So when you start doing that, you always start at the bottom and work up. Is that with all trees?
Only when I needle plug black pines, I start at the top. Do you know why? Why is that?
You don't have to clean
Don't have to clean, because the needles fall and they just go to the next layer and just clean all those off. So if I start at the base, work my way up, I have to come back and clean everything. So needle plug, we need needle plug and black pines when they're advanced and more refined. Start at the top, needle plug, much easier. Saves so much time. Alright, now, so once you do,
David,
yes,
just a question on the foliage.
yes.
Have you ever had the experience of cutting so much off
Yes.
that it throws juvenile legal foliage?
I have it very early on because I used to too much cutting. Don't cut so much, and if a tree isn't as healthy as it should be, it'll throw juvenile. I found. Like one of my trees, it's quite a nice trunk, quite an advanced tree, really nice. But the sprinkler wasn't getting it enough water on it. I found. And I wasn't checking it enough, so it came out, I was like, this is a little bit dry. And I could see the juvenile foliage formed on it over the spring and summer, which is just my fault. It was more my fault not looking after it as enough, making sure the water's on. So that could happen. So I find when a tree's not that healthy, it'll throw juvenile. If you overcut too much, juvenile as well. But
How long does it take for the juvenile?
probably a season. Yeah, probably a season, yeah. If you get the food back on it, get it water, get it in the sun, it goes away. It's pretty quick. So that's what I'm hoping for. Alright, so what's the process again? You're going to start with stock, aerate them off, twist them up, continually building up a tree over the years. Get to a point where you're just maintaining the tree now. And then you get to the point where these little guys are my favourites. You know, they're just really, really nice little trees that you can really enjoy. Now, these look like this until the weekend when I got stuck into it because I knew I was going to do a demo. I didn't want to have foliage everywhere, so I got into them, and this is how they look after you go through that work that I just showed you. Clean underneath, take out the middle bits, thin out the foliage. Very easy. Just don't treat them as a hedge. Clean the foliage underneath, take the long bits out, and then thin out where you need to be. Okay? This is Andrew.
Oh, those two.
Very old. This was Peter was one of yours from a long time ago. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So Peter probably had it 20 years at least, and I've had it probably 10 to 15 maybe now. It's been a while. I don't know. I can't even count it. It's old. But one of Peter's. This came out of Michael's Sindido, I was telling you about. He grew trunks and didn't have anything on it, just a trunk. It was just a trunk. So. Really nice. Over probably 10 as well, or 12, I've had it. So, yeah, it's really, I've got more, there's only so much I can bring into the car. Now, these are gorgeous little trees, aren't they? They're just beautiful small trees, small, twisted up. And this is what you see. But you can go massive size, right? With shimpaku, they look really good. That also was hugely overgrown until I was stuck into it on the weekend. Same process as I was doing. All I did was clean up the foliage underneath, clean anything that's too long, and you get nice. Can you see the layers though?
Yeah.
See how it all builds up. Now I know Quinn and I consider taking us in bottom branches, but it's a real, it's going to kill me doing that. But because so many years of work, working on this tree. Now, I didn't grow this tree, but someone else grew the tree. But it never got to the potential that it could be, and then he was not well. I used to look after his trees for him, not well, so I eventually got it because I used to work on it all the time. But it's got the story of if you continually work on a tree at the right time of year, it just gets better and better. That's what I'm trying to get to. Spring, summer, let the trees grow over spring and summer. Just let them go. Make sure you feed them, water them. Lots of sunshine on shimpakus. They love it. Absolutely love it.
Up to what temperature though?
Any temperature, as long as you water.
40 degrees?
As long as you water. As long as you get water to them, no problem 40 degrees. My Japanese maples, as long as I water them, they'll survive 40-degree weather, no burn.
Do you miss the foliage?
No, don't miss the foliage. But water 4 times a day in summer, that's the only problem. You've got to water it. If you get water on them, they won't burn. Okay, but shimpakus, if you get water to them and lots of sun, they just flourish. They love it, love it, love it, love it. And they get that nice, if you find a nice deep green, like these are nice deep green, what's his name? Tony, give them more sun, mate. I don't know if they're in the sun. So if they're a little bit faded, I don't think they're getting enough sun. If they're getting that fadey colour, they get this faded green colour, not enough sun, okay? When they get the nice deep green, they've got enough sun, got enough food, got enough water. If you see it going a bit lighter, it means not enough food, not enough sun, not enough water, okay? It's very simple. It's not like a trick or,
Is the apex on that one built the same way?
The apex is built by Slight twist, but many branches. But many branches. Yeah. Many branches maybe. So you can see this guy is really rounded.
Yeah.
So I can't turn it much, but it's nice and rounded. All right, that's how I like it. Maybe multiple branches make up this. You got a branch in here that's making it. You got another branch that's at the back, comes around, makes another branch up here. So it's got like a branch at the front, branch at the back, all to make the foliage happen. Because you're never going to see into these guys, are you? Because they're always going to have foliage. If it was a maple, you'll see it straight away when it loses the leaves. But on a shimpaku or a black pine even, it could all be hidden by foliage. It makes it like you don't know actually unless you really look in how that was all built. With branches going around, like all this stuff, you won't see it when it's at this stage. You can't see what I've done up here. It just looks like a nice foliage. Remember, bonsai is all about not deception. What's the word? Not deception. Illusion. Bonsai is about illusion, right? Smoke and mirrors. You don't know what's happening underneath, but as long as the peripheral looks really good, you're killing it. All right.
How long would you keep fertiliser on for?
You know what? In Melbourne, I swear these things grow really. I don't need to fertilise in winter, but these grow really in winter. Now, the only ones that don't grow as much, if they're in these pots, I find they grow. In those pots, they grow. In these pots, they grow, and it's scary, they go brown almost. They get that with the frost, when the frost hits them, they get this brownish colour, almost purpley, and you think, oh shit, what have I done? But it's not, it's actually natural. In Japan, they're fully brown and fully purple, all the shimpakus in pots. Because there's not much soil in there, they feel the cold a lot more, they feel the frost, they go brown and purple. And then once spring happens, it just disappears and goes green. It's amazing. Yeah. So they don't really do much in winter, but they just get going, I find.
Would you like to talk about the pot selection for those two?
That's like a controversial thing, pot selection. Love this pot. I'll just say what I think. Love this pot, absolutely perfect for this tree. That's just me. Love this pot, perfect for me. It's dirty, but it's perfect for this tree. Nice small cascade pot. These two I'm not too keen on, but it's what I've got at the moment. Not a huge fan of this one for this tree just yet. And this is too thick, too heavy for this tree. I know it's a thickish tree, but I just haven't found the right pot for it. It's a nice colour, nice tone. It's probably too thick and too deep. Do you notice? Too thick, too deep. A bit more shallower, I think. Maybe a round or an oval kind of shape would be nice. But yeah, these two are not fans. I love these two. I think they're suited. What do you reckon? That's how I think anyway. They look good to me. These two look great. These two can have better pots. Love that one. That's a Japanese import. Love my Japanese import pots. That's a very strong, masculine looking pot for the tree. Yeah, it looks good. What do you reckon?
I was just interested. All of those smaller ones are equal size pots.
Yes.
Yeah, the upright form would suggest a shallow pot.
I'm with you. I know these are wrong, especially these two. I do love these two, but these two are wrong. But it's what I had, unfortunately. It's sometimes what you got, and you never find sometimes the right pot. When a hand you got, just never find the exact right one. Do you, Peter? Keep looking. Yeah. It's a good question. Any other questions?
David, you're talking about phases,
Yes.
which might have 1 or 2 years between each phase.
Good point.
How do you keep track of where you're up to?
Very hard. You're very hard. You only know, to be honest, when you're in between these phases, when you're in this phase, right, it's a matter of, all I really do is, as I said, feed water in spring, summer. Then I go and check it. I go, take a look at the tree and go, oh, the wire's starting to cut in, there's a huge amount of growth here, but that's looking good. I've got to do something with it now. I can't lose count, because there's maybe 50 of them, or something like that, that I look after. And it's like, I lose count, but I just assess them on how they're doing. Right? So, there was one here that was a bit, which was the first one? No. This one was a bit weakish, apart from that first branch, those side branches that I jigged off. You know, that was like, I didn't do that much this summer, but at least there's a branch that I can use. So I really figure them out, like, I work out that if they're healthy, strong, doing something, they get the next round of work. Okay, healthy, strong, wires coming in, next round of work. So, you're looking at multiple years of work, 1 to 2 years, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, but you've got different things at different phases, and you're doing the same thing. You're pretty much doing the same thing from this way onwards, you're pretty much doing the same thing. From this way onwards, you're doing the same thing, isn't it? There's a point in time of just maintaining, a point in time of still creating, designing, cleaning up foliage, just start making decisions on the branches and so on. So that's that. Jamie?
The larger stuff behind you.
These ones?
Yeah, is that exactly the same story? Like you start from more nursery stock, so you wire, heavy wire over 2 years. It's just the exact same story, but
if you wanted to start with heavier stock, which you can, same process as doing these little guys. Same process, but hard work. Lots of heavy wire. Be careful. Really, like a couple of rounds of 6 mil. Wrap to wrap. Probably use guide wires a lot. Guide wires are just tying things and tightening them, and then tightening another way. It's really intense work on larger stock, but you can do it. The bends are the only issue on larger stock, because the bends, when it's a thicker branch, it's hard to go, crazy twists, right? You're going to be able to twist it one way, guide wire, it's like, I've got to wait now, twist it this way, guide wire, I've got to wait now. You really have to plan out your bends and stuff like that. It's a bit harder to bend them, if you know what I mean. So thicker branches are harder to bend, and you've got to do them with gradual. Totally different. But you can, if I was to do one of these, it'd take me hours to do a demo. It's too long to do a demo. It's a lot of work. But yes, you can do it. Yes.
My name's Mark, I'm a joint tonight. Those nice little plants that you got up there, if they were for sale, what sort of money? What sort of price are they?
Who throw up a number? Then these are for me, these are priceless, so it would take a lot of money for me to pump. Extremely well.
What sort of money?
Easy 4 figures. Easy. People say that, I still couldn't part with them. It's so hard to grow.
It's been with you for God knows how
so long, it's so hard to grow. Especially when they're really, really nice. Like these little guys, not too fast. I just had a sold a whole bunch of these little guys, right? We're on one left, right? But sold a whole bunch of them. It doesn't have that attachment as these trees. They've got more attachment, so it's really hard to part with.
Now, I've been to Quinton's backyard and done work. I was just curious what sort of money they go for.
Yeah, Quinton's are different.
Is it 6 or 7?
No. It's not about money. But anyway.
So that's all right, I'll just buy one off a Quinton.
Alright, any other questions? Any horticultural stuff? Anything about shimpakus? Did you guys learn something?
Yeah.
It's not there? Hang on, one more question. Oh, still a question, sorry.
With the layering you've got, have you got issues with getting enough sun? Where you've got basically the layers sitting on top of one another?
So you'll be able to just see, when you come closer, that the layer above, like this layer down here, has foliage on the end. This layer, kind of the foliage is just on the inside of the bare bit. I don't know how to explain it. Let me see if I can show you. I'll try and show you. So if you look at this at the front, okay? You guys can see the front. So this is the first layer. The foliage is on the ends. There's not a huge amount in there. Then this one sits kind of in the shadow of this bare bit. So this will still get the light. This will get the light. Then the next one above will sit in the bare bit on there. Does that make sense?
So you'll never really get any back budding.
It's very rare
because there's no light.
Very rare. You do, but not as much. And the inside foliage isn't as strong growing as the outside foliage. Yeah. Mr. Brian.
Did you ever consider grafting bit of gower onto your trunk?
Well, it's good. I did that asked a lot. If you come and feel this foliage, it's pretty nice and tight already. It's a lot of work to graft it to go up on something that's so good already. If it was more spindly, yes. I'm grafting Kishu. I'm grafting Kishu onto a huge, I've got this huge spumata. Spumata is like a foliage foliage is horrible. It's prickly, it dies back everywhere, it's horrible. And there's this huge trunk of a juniper. It's got two massive nice live veins, all these dead wood, and I've grafted kishu onto it. It's a massive tree, and the foliage is so nice and tight. I've got 3 or 4 going, I've still got to get a few more on there, but that would be a super tree. But kishu on, it was so good anyway. The other one, the blues, isn't as good. Blues, they say blue, gloss, blue, can't say B-L-A-U. Wow. That foliage isn't as good, but the kishu is good enough for Australia. Anyway, I find you don't go as too quick. If you can get it, great, go for it.
I've got some.
Well, there you go. You got a big mind. All right, any other questions? Buy some raffle tickets, help yourself to a coffee and tea, and all good.